There's a moment, often sometime after 60, when many men pause and wonder, why am I feeling this way? Maybe the energy isn't quite what it used to be, or mornings feel slower, or there's that nagging frustration about performance. Yes, in the bedroom, too. Most of the time, we look for complicated answers: stress, aging, maybe medication. But what if I told you the biggest culprit sabotaging your erections might be sitting on your breakfast table right now? I know, it sounds unbelievable. After all, how could something as innocent as fruit, something we've always been told is healthy, cause any trouble? But for men over 60, certain fruits, especially first thing in the morning, can quietly wreak havoc on your blood flow, hormones, and ultimately, your confidence. Today, we're going to talk openly about the 7 breakfast fruits you should consider skipping, and, more importantly, why making these small changes could help you regain your vitality and performance. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. About 6 months ago, I met a patient named Ron. Ron is 74, a retired engineer, sharp as a tack, and proud of keeping active. He told me his morning routine was almost sacred. Up at dawn, a brisk walk with his dog, and then, every morning without fail, a healthy breakfast loaded with fruit. Bananas, grapes, a little orange juice, whatever was in season. It's what kept me feeling young, he said, smiling. But as we sat together in my office, Ron's smile faded. He leaned in and confessed, "Doc, things just aren't working the way they used to. I thought I was doing everything right, but I can't figure out what changed." His blood work was normal, he exercised, didn't smoke, and yet, his energy and erections weren't what they once were. Now, I've been working as a men's health specialist and urologist for over 30 years, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the answers are sometimes hiding in plain sight. That's why I'm passionate about helping men over 60 see the connections others might miss. My name is Dr. Nolan Easton, and today, I want to give you a clear, practical look at how what you eat for breakfast can quietly shape your entire day, and, yes, your nights too. If you've felt confused or even a little embarrassed by changes in your body, know this: you're not alone. The good news is, with just a bit of knowledge and a few simple adjustments, you can start to take back control, naturally and confidently. The surprising link between breakfast fruits and men's performance isn't something you'll hear about in a quick chat with friends or even at your regular checkup. That's because fruit, on its own, isn't the enemy. The problem is how certain fruits, especially those high in sugar or served in large amounts, can impact blood sugar, insulin levels, and circulation, particularly as we age. For years, we've been told to eat more fruit, but for senior men, the situation is a little more nuanced. After 60, your body processes sugars differently. Even natural sugars, like those in bananas, grapes, or oranges, can cause quick spikes and drops in blood sugar, which can make you feel sluggish, zap your energy, and, in the long run, reduce blood flow where it matters most. And, as you may already know, good blood flow is absolutely critical for healthy erections. Ron's breakfast was a classic example. On the outside, it looked like the perfect start: colorful, full of vitamins, and light on processed junk. But underneath, his plate was loaded with fruits that spiked his blood sugar, sent his insulin on a roller coaster ride, and left him feeling wiped out before lunch. Over time, these swings quietly weakened his circulation and even affected his hormone balance. He started skipping social events, felt less interested in intimacy, and chalked it all up to just getting older. But aging doesn't have to mean giving up on the things that make life enjoyable and meaningful. That's why it's so important to take a fresh look at your breakfast routine. It's not about depriving yourself or never enjoying your favorite foods again. It's about understanding how the choices you make each morning can either set you up for a day of energy and confidence, or leave you fighting an uphill battle before you even get out the door. When you know which fruits can quietly sabotage your erections, you can make smarter swaps that work with your body, not against it. And when you do, you'll find your energy, mood, and yes, your performance start to improve, often faster than you'd think. If you're finding this conversation helpful so far, or if you've ever wondered why your mornings leave you feeling less than your best, I'd love for you to take a second and click like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on simple, honest advice like this. And if you feel comfortable, leave a comment below. Just a quick, yes, if this is speaking to you, or no, if you haven't noticed these changes. I read every answer, and your feedback helps me create future videos that address your real concerns. Back to Ron. Once we took a closer look at his routine, the pieces started falling into place. He realized his so-called healthy breakfast was loaded with high-sugar fruits, often paired with a glass of juice and sometimes even a dollop of honey. It was no wonder his energy crashed mid-morning, and his evenings felt uninspired. The trouble is, high-sugar fruits can be sneaky. They taste refreshing and seem harmless, but for older men, the rapid rise and fall in blood sugar can quietly stress your cardiovascular system. Over weeks and months, this can lead to inflammation and sluggish blood flow, two things that are the enemy of healthy erections. The body is a finely tuned machine, especially after 60. Hormones, nerves, and blood vessels must all work together for optimal performance. But too much sugar, yes, even from fruit, throws a wrench into the works. You might not feel it immediately, but over time, the effects add up. Some fruits are more likely to cause these issues than others, and it's easy to overlook them because they're sold as healthy choices. This isn't about never eating fruit again. In fact, fruit has important nutrients and can still be part of a balanced diet. The key is choosing the right fruits, in the right amounts, and pairing them wisely with other foods. You don't have to give up flavor or variety. You just need to outsmart the sugar trap that so many men fall into without realizing. Ron was surprised, even a little skeptical at first. "Doc, I've eaten bananas every morning for years. Could they really be hurting me?" It's a fair question, but when we swapped his morning routine for options with lower sugar and higher fiber, the results were dramatic. Within 2 weeks, his energy was steadier. He wasn't crashing mid-morning. And most importantly, his confidence started to return. The changes were simple, but the payoff was enormous. And the same can be true for you. This is what I want every man to know. The smallest choices, repeated day after day, quietly shape your health in ways you might not expect. When you take a closer look at your breakfast plate and make just a few targeted adjustments, you give yourself the gift of better mornings, better evenings, and a renewed sense of control over your body. You don't have to settle for feeling tired or frustrated. You have more power than you think, and it all starts with a single decision at the breakfast table. So if you've been searching for a practical, natural way to support your health, energy, and performance, don't underestimate the impact of what you eat. I'm here to help you make sense of it all, and to show you how small changes can add up to big results. You deserve to feel your best, no matter your age. And together, we can make that happen, one smart choice at a time. When Ron made those first small changes to his breakfast, I'll admit he was a bit hesitant. He'd grown up in an era when fruit was the poster child for healthy eating, and it felt counterintuitive to reconsider something so familiar. He was used to hearing, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away," and now here I was, telling him that certain breakfast fruits might be quietly working against his energy, mood, and most personal health goals. But as we talked, I explained that the problem isn't fruit itself, but rather how our bodies respond to specific kinds, and how those responses change as we age. You see, after 60, our metabolism slows, our insulin sensitivity drops, and our blood vessels become a little less elastic. That means our bodies don't handle sugar, even the natural kind, the same way they did in our 30s and 40s. Fruits like bananas, pineapples, mangoes, grapes, and even big glasses of orange juice, so often found on breakfast tables, can trigger rapid spikes in blood sugar, which are quickly followed by just as rapid a fall. These ups and downs are tough on your energy and, most importantly for men, tough on your vascular health. When blood sugar spikes and crashes become a regular part of your day, it leads to inflammation inside your blood vessels, making it harder for blood to flow freely. And as any man knows, healthy blood flow is essential for strong, reliable erections. Ron's story is so relatable because he genuinely wanted to do what was best for his body. Like many men, he equated fruit with health, and he had no idea that his habits might be setting him up for trouble later in the day. When he'd crash mid-morning, he'd blame poor sleep or stress. When his energy flagged in the evening, he figured it was just a part of getting older. It never occurred to him that the friendly-looking bunch of grapes or the banana he grabbed each morning was quietly contributing to those very problems. But as soon as we shifted his breakfast to include more protein, healthy fats, and lower sugar fruit, like berries or a few slices of apple instead of a whole orange, he started to feel the difference. One of the most surprising things Ron discovered was just how quickly the body responds to these adjustments. Within a week, he noticed he no longer needed that extra cup of coffee to push through the morning. By the end of the second week, his mood had improved, he was less irritable, and he found himself looking forward to his walks again. And, perhaps most encouraging, he saw positive changes in the bedroom. He told me, with a bit of a grin, "Doc, I feel like myself again." That's the kind of outcome that keeps me passionate about sharing this knowledge with men who are ready for real, lasting change. I want to pause here and gently encourage you, if you haven't already, to take a moment and tap like, subscribe, and the bell icon below. Not only will it help you stay up to date on practical, no-nonsense advice for healthy aging, but your feedback directly shapes the content I create. If today's message resonates with you, leave a simple yes or no in the comments. I read every single response, and it's your participation that makes this a true community, a place where men can learn, share, and grow together without shame or confusion. One thing I've noticed over the years is that most men don't realize how subtle these effects can be. A little extra sugar here, a glass of juice there, it doesn't seem like much in the moment. But over time, these small choices add up, affecting everything from your waistline to your mood to your most personal confidence. Some men chalk it up to aging, but the truth is, you have more control than you think. The key is not about giving up fruit entirely. It's about knowing which fruits fit your body best and when to enjoy them. For example, lower sugar fruits like strawberries, raspberries, or a small handful of blueberries provide valuable nutrients and fiber, but won't spike your blood sugar the way a banana or pineapple will. Ron found that switching up his breakfast made his whole day easier. He no longer felt that energy slump after breakfast, and by replacing juice with water or unsweetened tea, his cravings for sweets in the afternoon gradually faded. He was amazed that something so simple, a small tweak to his morning routine, could ripple out to improve so many areas of his life. That's the beauty of treating the body with a little more respect, a little more understanding. Small changes truly can make a world of difference, especially after 60. I also want to mention another important point. Our bodies become more sensitive to dietary triggers as we age. If you've struggled with stubborn weight, mood swings, or feeling off in the mornings, breakfast may be playing a bigger role than you think. Many men assume it's just low testosterone or the normal effects of getting older, but in my experience, the first place to look is often the first meal of the day. The wrong kind of fruit, especially in large portions, can act like a sugar bomb, spiking insulin, fueling inflammation, and setting you up for disappointment later. Now, some men ask me, "But doc, fruit is packed with vitamins and antioxidants. Isn't that good for me?" The answer is yes. When chosen wisely and enjoyed in moderation, the right fruits are an excellent part of your diet. But the secret is balance. For men over 60, that often means less of the tropical or super sweet fruits at breakfast, and more focus on whole foods that provide steady energy and support vascular health. When you get that balance right, you protect not just your heart, but your performance and confidence, too. Ron's willingness to try something new opened the door to better days and nights. He found that eating a little less sugar in the morning allowed his natural energy and mood to rise throughout the day, instead of depending on quick fixes. That's the sort of win I want for every man listening. It doesn't take a radical diet or a mountain of supplements. It just takes a fresh look at old habits, and the courage to put your health first. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice out there, know that you're not alone. Every week I hear from men who are frustrated, confused, and sometimes even a little hopeless about what to eat. My promise to you is this: you can start small. You can make changes at your own pace, and every step forward is worth celebrating. Your breakfast can be the start of a day that leaves you feeling strong, clear-headed, and ready for whatever life brings. And as your body adapts, you may find that your confidence, yes, in every sense, returns in ways you didn't expect. There's something truly rewarding about seeing a man reclaim his spark simply by making better choices each morning. When Ron first made those swaps, opting for lower sugar fruits, including some protein and healthy fat at breakfast, he felt a difference, but he also gained something more subtle: confidence in his ability to take control of his health. And that's what I want to instill in every viewer here today. So often, men over 60 are told that their best days are behind them, that feeling tired or less interested in intimacy is just part of aging. But as Ron discovered, those old beliefs simply aren't true. When you give your body what it really needs, even small changes can bring profound results. Let's talk a little about what was happening inside Ron's body, because it's likely happening for many men watching, too. When breakfast starts with high sugar fruits or fruit juice, your blood sugar rises rapidly, causing your pancreas to work overtime pumping out insulin. In your younger years, your body could handle these swings easily. But as the decades pass, these rapid fluctuations strain your system. Elevated insulin, day after day, encourages your body to store more fat around the middle. Worse, it puts pressure on your blood vessels, creating micro-inflammation that makes it harder for blood to circulate freely. When the vessels that supply blood to the penis are even slightly narrowed or inflamed, you notice changes in performance, sensitivity, and recovery. It's not sudden or dramatic, it sneaks up over weeks, months, even years, and most men don't see the connection until they look back. Ron realized that as his breakfast habits changed, he didn't just regain his energy. He noticed the swelling in his fingers went down, his trousers fit a little looser, and, to his surprise, his doctor saw improvements in his blood pressure. These are the domino effects of treating your body to steady, gentle nourishment instead of quick, sugary hits. And every positive change in circulation helps your erections as much as it helps your heart. What I want for you is to experience this same chain reaction. It's not about rigid rules or giving up everything you love. In fact, the most sustainable habits are the ones that feel natural, enjoyable, and easy to stick with. For Ron, that meant swapping out fruit juice for water with a slice of lemon, choosing berries over bananas, and adding a boiled egg or a spoonful of nut butter for longer-lasting energy. Within a month, not only did his mornings feel brighter, but the quiet confidence in his private life returned as well. I know this might feel like a lot to take in, especially if you've always thought fruit was a guilt-free choice. Remember, the value here isn't in restriction, it's in knowledge and empowerment. When you're mindful about which fruits to enjoy at breakfast, and you round out your meal with protein and healthy fat, you set yourself up for stable blood sugar, clearer thinking, and a better mood. And all of these contribute directly to healthy circulation and performance. If you're finding this helpful, I'd be honored if you'd take a moment to tap like, subscribe, and the bell icon. Your feedback is what keeps this community growing, and it helps me focus on the topics you care about most. Please don't hesitate to leave a yes or no in the comments if you see yourself in this story, or if you have your own breakfast struggles. Every response is read, and it helps me guide future conversations toward the real issues senior men face every day. Ron's journey is a reminder that it's never too late to see change. So many men believe that declining performance is simply their fate, or that they've lost the power to make a difference in their own health. That couldn't be further from the truth. By looking at his breakfast through a new lens, Ron discovered a path back to energy, comfort, and self-assurance. Not by following some fad, but by listening to his body and making one smart choice at a time. I often tell my patients that every day is a new opportunity. The body has an amazing capacity to heal, adapt, and even reverse some of the changes we once thought were permanent. When you support your vascular health with steady, gentle nutrition in the morning, you'll notice benefits not just in your physical energy, but in your mental outlook and emotional resilience. Small wins at breakfast can lead to bigger wins throughout the day. This is why I encourage men not to underestimate the power of these subtle shifts. If you're struggling with tiredness, low mood, or less than ideal performance, ask yourself, what am I putting on my plate in the morning? A few small swaps might make all the difference. And don't be discouraged if you slip back into old habits now and then. It's about progress, not perfection. As Ron's experience shows, even modest, consistent change can bring back that sense of vitality and optimism you may have been missing. As you continue your own journey, remember that support is always here. This channel is built on honest conversations, mutual encouragement, and a shared belief that men over 60 deserve to feel their best, in every way. You're not alone, and you're never too old to make a meaningful change. The choices you make today can help you feel stronger, more confident, and ready for the moments that matter most, both big and small. Let's keep this conversation going, because together, we can help each other stay informed, inspired, and empowered, one smart breakfast at a time. You might be surprised at how far-reaching the impact of a simple breakfast change can be. As Ron discovered, a few small adjustments in the morning brought him back to feeling not only energetic and sharp, but also confident in his relationships and social life. That's the real power of listening to your body and making mindful choices, even after 60. It's easy to believe the narrative that these changes are just aging, or that men have to accept declining performance and fading enthusiasm as their new normal. But what Ron's story shows, and what I want you to know deep down, is that it's never too late to take back the reins of your health. One thing that stands out for me as a physician is how much hope and momentum can come from just a few weeks of better habits. When you skip those sneaky, high-sugar fruits at breakfast, especially the ones we often assume are harmless, and instead reach for low-sugar, high-fiber options with a source of protein or healthy fat, your whole system thanks you. Blood flow improves, mood brightens, and the cycle of sugar crashes comes to a stop. Ron found himself more engaged throughout the day, and, to his delight, his confidence at night returned, along with a sense of youthfulness he thought was gone for good. The most important part of all this isn't just what's on your plate, it's the message you're sending to yourself. You're saying, my health still matters. I'm still worth the effort. That self-respect is powerful fuel for lasting change. And when you see the ripple effect, how your energy, your focus, and even your sense of humor start to return, it's hard not to feel proud. Ron shared that his wife noticed the difference, too, and it brought a renewed sense of partnership and joy into their home. That's what I wish for every man who watches these videos. Not just better numbers on a chart, but more laughter, more connection, and a greater sense of purpose as you move through your day. Before we close, I want to invite you one more time to join our community here. If these insights on breakfast and men's health have helped you, please take a second to hit like, subscribe, and the bell icon. Your participation makes a real difference, not just for yourself, but for all the men searching for real answers and encouragement. And don't forget to comment, yes, or no, below if this message speaks to your own experience. I read every comment, and your feedback guides every topic we discuss. As we wrap up, let's return to where we started. For so many years, men have been told to accept decline as an unchangeable fact of life. But Ron's story, and the stories of countless other men I've had the privilege to care for, prove otherwise. You don't have to settle for slow mornings, lackluster energy, or uncertainty about your own vitality. With a little knowledge, a willingness to try something new, and the support of this caring community, you can reclaim the energy, confidence, and happiness you deserve. Your journey is uniquely yours, but you never have to walk it alone. Whether you're just now noticing changes or have been struggling for years, it's never too late to make a positive change. Each morning is a new chance to treat your body well, to feed your spirit, and to set yourself up for days filled with purpose, comfort, and even a little adventure. Thank you for joining me and sharing your time and trust. Remember, your best years are not behind you. They're still ahead, as long as you're willing to keep learning and caring for yourself. You have a doctor on your side, and a whole community cheering you on. Take good care of yourself and of those you love. Until next time, I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, wishing you strong mornings, fulfilling days, and a future filled with health and joy. You absolutely deserve it.